Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness, I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow.
No coming, no going, no after, no before. I hold you. Should we start again?
I will not allow me loud.
I think Shalini has to unmute us.
Y'all are unmuted.
Now, thank you.
No coming, no going, no after, no before.
I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free.
Because I am in you and you are in me.
Because I am in you and you are in me. Na jana, na atit, na bhavishya.
पास मैं तुमको ले लूं, आजाद तुमको कर दूं.
क्योंकि मुझ में तुम हो और तुम में मैं हूँ.
क्योंकि मुझ में तुम हो और तुम में मैं हूँ. No coming, no going, no after, no before.
I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free.
because I am in you and you are in me.
Because I am in you and you are in me.
So thank you, dear Amiga Choir. Amiga is Amu Mala Indra Gitu, singing in sync. And today I thought that maybe we'll have a little bit of a silent meditation practice for a few minutes. Many of us may have had the chance to see the cremation this morning and also follow some of the other programs that have been going on. And a lot is coming up for many of us. So I thought that it'll just be a nice time just to sit quietly for about 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and just sit and see what comes up from the store consciousness. And in our heart, prostrate to Thay, our teacher, and know that he is in us, as we've been doing in the meditations. We always say the one who bows and the one who is bowed to are both by nature empty. And therefore, the communication is perfect. So when we bow or prostrate or honor Thay, the Buddha, we also realize that Thay, the Buddha, are in us. So we just sit with that sense of interconnectedness. And I'll invite the bell, and then we will invite the bell after a little while. Welcome, welcome, dear Sangha friends. You may want to just massage your face and your legs just to feel your body. So as we sit like this, just coming back into the present with the help of our breath, sometimes the thoughts can also be overwhelming. The number of images and thoughts of Thay over the years started flooding back. And in my case, I was fortunate that I'd known him for many years. So we've had many chances to be together. But I know that many of us met him briefly or have not even met him. So I thought, again, we'll just have our sitting and sharing. Sometimes in the sitting, you might hear ethereal music, like some of you may have heard some music. So anyway, that is his grand nephew playing the piano. I Am a Cloud. It was also played when the body was going out of Tihu. And it was quite fitting that Thay transited through the gate of emptiness, something he's been teaching us for years. In fact, the Heart Sutra ends with Gate Gate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha, which basically means gone beyond, and beyond all concepts. Sometimes people say to the other shore, but it's gone beyond notions and concepts. So Thay exiting or transiting through emptiness is wonderful. So I think we'll just keep it open like we do normally. If you just show your chat hand or put up your hand, please, feel free to share what you'd like to share. Yeah, thank you. Raka ji.
So,
Raka, you're unmuted now, I think.
yeah, yes, I am. Yeah.
But we can't hear you.
We could hear last what you said. Yes, I am.
Okay. Some more words of wisdom from Thay, from his wonderful book, of course, Inside the Buddha's Teachings. So this chapter is called Right View. As we all know, the Eightfold Path. Right View is one of the paths which would lead us to, I guess, salvation, among other things. So anyway, the first practice of the Noble Eightfold Path is right view. Right view is, first of all, a deep understanding of the Four Noble Truths: our suffering, the making of our suffering, the fact that our suffering can be transformed, and the path of transformation. The Buddha said that right view is to have faith and confidence that there are people who have been able to transform their suffering. Venerable Shariputra added that right view is knowing which of the four kinds of nutriments that we have ingested have brought about what has come to be. Shariputra described right view as the ability to distinguish wholesome roots from unwholesome roots. In each of us, there are wholesome and unwholesome roots or seeds in the depths of our consciousness. If you are a loyal person, it is because the seed of loyalty is in you. But don't think that the seed of betrayal isn't also in you. If you live in an environment where your seed of loyalty is watered, you will be a loyal person. But if your seed of betrayal is watered, you may betray even those you love. You'll feel guilty about it, but if the seed of betrayal in you becomes strong, you may do it. The practice of mindfulness helps us identify all the seeds in our store consciousness and what are the ones that are the most wholesome. When one person comes up to us, the very sight of him makes us uncomfortable. When someone else walks by, we like her right away. Something in each of them touches a seed in us. If we love our mother deeply, but feel tense every time we think of our father, it is natural that when we see a young lady who looks like our mother, we will appreciate her. And when we see a man who evokes the memory of our father, we will feel uncomfortable. In this way, we can see the seeds that are in us, seeds of love for our mother and seeds of hurt vis-a-vis our father. When we become aware of the seeds in our storehouse, we will not be surprised by our own behavior or the behavior of others. This is just a little more now. The seed of Buddhahood, the capacity to wake up and understand things as they are, is also present in each of us. When we join our palms and bow to another person, we acknowledge the seed of Buddhahood in him or her. When we bow to a child this way, we help him or her grow up beautifully and with self confidence. If you plant corn, corn will grow. If you plant wheat, wheat will grow. If you act in a wholesome way, you will be happy. If you act in an unwholesome way, you water the seeds of craving, anger, and violence in yourself. Right view is to recognize which seeds are wholesome and to encourage those seeds to be watered. This is called selective touching. We need to discuss and share with each other to deepen our understanding of this practice. And the practice of the five mindfulness trainings, especially the fifth about the foods we ingest. Thank you.
Thank you, Raka, for sharing those words of wisdom from Thay and also giving us some homework as a Sangha now to work on together in terms of the trainings. I see Sheila Ji's hand up, and before she shares, I just want to say how wonderful, Sheila, each day your haikus are. But today was another of those, can't even say, how do you say? When, it's like they say Mara was throwing darts like a terrorist at the Buddha, and they were transforming into flowers when they were landing near the Buddha. Thank you. Shalini, we have to unmute Sheila, I think.
Thank you, Shanta. I wanted to say that all the 7 day ceremonies, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. All the 7 days ceremonies were very moving, but today, especially, it all sort of seemed to come together. And it seemed to me as I was watching Thay's funeral that somehow he had, by crossing over to the other shore, he had somehow brought my father and my ancestors back to me. So I felt very close to all my ancestors, because I felt that Thay had gone there and somehow he had been the bridge between me and my ancestors. And I was feeling that there had always been a big gap between me and my father. And today I felt that, they had such hard life. And it was a very rough life for them, because it was the first generation that moved from the village to the city. So in a sense, my father's generation is the first generation of Indians. They became from local people into Indians, and the transition was very, very tough, and there must have been a lot of suffering, and they were focused on thrusting us into the modern world and equipping us in a way that their parents hadn't equipped them. And in the process, I felt that we lost our roots, we lost our moorings to an old culture. So death was like Pap Dung was saying, something like you went to a warehouse as if you were a waste and you were just thrown there. And somehow the beauty of these ceremonies, the perfection of the art with which the Buddhists have dwelt all these years of practice on the art of dying, and how they have really uplifted it into I felt it was like an art form. It was the ultimate thing. And in the process, I felt connected to my own roots, which is very strange, Here was some great Buddhist teacher dying, but somehow he brought me back home to my own village of relatives and so on. And I felt very, very close to all of them, thanks to him. I also felt that, in the process of modernizing, somehow our minds became colonized, at least mine did. So spirituality or anything connected with it was not something you talked about in social circles. It was something, something odd that you kept behind closed doors. It was not something you could discuss with other people. And it's till date, I always used to have a shyness connected with talking openly of it, of spirituality as a essential of life, as perhaps the most important thing in life. And something about his courage in being, I see when a person dies, his whole life comes together in a way that he never know it when he's still alive, because there's so many fragments and it's going in so many directions. But in these 7 days, his life seems to have come together. And it seems to me that his most important message to me is that it doesn't matter if you're talking to the president of the USA or you're talking to a American war veteran or you're talking to a Vietnamese child. It's the same language. It's the same words you use. There is no inconsistency. Like I feel because we are so colonized, we have 3 languages. One for inside the home, one for talking with people who are lower than us, and one for talking to people who are higher than us, and to equal, so there could be 3 or 4 languages. But with Thai, there's only one language and it speaks out so powerfully. So I feel what I've taken from this is that a sense of he created a refuge for us. You created it for us, but you were an instrument of him to create it here. And in this Sangha, I found the refuge to be able to say that what I felt comfortable talking about whatever it is that needs to be expressed. I felt fully human for the first time. I felt it was possible to express all our human emotions, our crying, our hearts, loneliness, suffering, everything was okay. And this circle that contains us, it seems to me a drop of Thai's creation. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sheila. Always so eloquent, beautiful, powerful. Yeah. And authentic. Yeah. Hits my heart and gets my tear ducts going. Thank you. So I see that Tina had put up her hand and then she dropped out. And when she comes back, we can invite her to share. Tina, here you are. Again, you're muted, Tina.
Sorry, I got disconnected there. Yeah, I just, there was something very beautiful which really touched me in today's ceremony and also yesterday. And it was a letter which the monastics read out, Thai's last letter actually to them, which was written in 2020 and 2021. And today they explained that that Thay used to always write them letters, and because they hadn't received a letter from him for a while, they asked him for his permission if they could put a letter together from all those various letters that he had written to them, and he had agreed. And in the letter, somewhere, it's just a very beautiful, long, lovely letter to all his practitioners, lay and monastic. And in the letter, he spoke about why he didn't want a stupa to be made for him, and that he didn't want his ashes to be put away in a stupa, and he wanted his ashes to be spread everywhere on the earth. And he also mentioned that one of the temples had actually made a stupa for him before he even knew about it, and he had said that, on this stupa you write that I am not inside and I am not outside either. And after that he said, and I just felt this was so beautiful, he said, build for Thay a stupa made of our own practice in every setting of our daily life. I just say it again. Build for Thay a stupa made of our own practice in every setting of our daily life. And this just touched me so deeply. So I just wanted to share that, and it was so close to my heart. So I wanted to just share that with everyone. Yeah.
No, thank you, Tina. Thank you for that reiteration. Because for me, actually, it also felt like the centers, the places of practice, to co-practice with each other to create that space. We create the stupa of practice for a community. That's what I heard. It's interesting. Thank you. Please don't feel shy to share. Some people, are not used to sharing, so I don't want to ask names, but I can just go through the whole group name by name, and if you feel like, you say yes, and if you don't. So I'll just start at the top left-hand corner, because some people just don't feel they feel uncomfortable. There's no compulsion, just it's a way of creating community. So maybe I'll start with the last person on the last side. There's Sukanya, there's Milan, there's Charnita, there's Pragati.
I don't mind coming in.
Great.
Perfect.
Yes, please, Sukanya.
Yeah. One really doesn't know where to start. It's been so moving, every bit of it. And today it was also very deep, and it was painful somehow, though we've been getting used to this idea of life and death and this form and non-form, but still seeing the pyre, and it brought a certain hurt up in me. So I know I need to deepen it. At the concept level, I may have understood it, but yes, I need it to. So I cried a lot today. I'm happy to share that with all of you. But these few days have been wonderful. I came into the practice pretty recently. With Tina, I started in 2018. My mother is the one who somehow led me into this practice. She died on Buddha Purnima Day in the year 2004. And that was a bit of a sign which came to me. 10 years after that, in 2014, some friends took me to Anandagram and the Sanskriti Kendra and on the Buddha Purnima Day. And there, what I witnessed and what I experienced was so beautiful, so humbling. That banyan tree, the moon rising, and the Heart Sutra, which was, I think, something that something is very close to Shantam's heart. So every time we hear that, we used to hear that. After 4 years, I think I started attending the going for the practice sessions with Tina in that little room of hers, which is so sacred a place for me. Some things have been easier, some things have been very difficult. And these last 2 years, practicing online has been a deep blessing for all of us. I really liked what Shantam, you said, the Yogatha, which you read out the other day about life revealing, the path revealing itself between life and death. So I think this 22nd January 2022 is something very momentous for all of us. And today, when Brother Faplan read out a teacher looking for a student, that was really, really something which touched me. That I felt Thay almost speaking to me. So yeah, that's a very beautiful poem. And if somebody could read that out, that would be wonderful.
Thank you, Sukanya. Thank you for sharing so much. I'm so glad you did, because, I'm just going through the names on my screen, and I feel that even though I've called the name earlier, please, if you feel like sharing, just do. And there's Pragati, and there's Asha, which I think is Priya, and there's Anika. So anybody would like to share, just say, just please. Anshul. Oh, there's Dr. M, very famous from James Bond, whatever, Miss M. And then Aarti, Tia, and Sayam, and Shonali, and Ian, and Parthasarthi, and Sigrid, and Mala.
I'd like to say something.
Yes, Parthasarthi. Who is that? Anshul, yeah, please do. Anshul.
I haven't been an active member of this Sangha, so I was a bit hesitant. I've only been to Anand Lok a couple of times, and this was also a while ago. But I wanted to come today because, there's just no words to describe Thay himself. I mean, I don't think he is any different from the Buddha himself. I think whenever I come across the word be or being, I always think of him, He's touched me immensely, though I haven't been a formal student, much like most of you. But I just wanted to take this chance to pay homage and say that we are really fortunate that such an immense being, and by all means, the Buddha himself was, he chose to be amongst us, and he walked with us and ate with us. And yeah, I don't think I can articulate very well, but I'm very touched by what all of you do and by his whole life, and of course also by him dropping his body recently. It's brought me back to the Buddha's teachings, I think, and I'm in deep gratitude for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anshul. Thay will be so happy to hear you. You know, his one of his deep desires was to bring the Buddha Dhamma back to India and to renew it in our country amongst us, because we've lost that tradition in the way he has articulated it. So I know he mentioned that many times, and so he just hearing you, I know that he would be just so happy, really. Thank you for that. So I'll just go along the. Sigrid, are you unmuting yourself? Great.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yep. One thing that touched me in the night at the ceremony very deeply was when Sister Chang Kong sang the song, and what was so surprising to me is that it was so light and easy, and she, her way of singing and behaving in between talking to someone, it made it so normal to have the transition, and it even took some fear that could be there. Yeah. Yeah, it's I somehow felt like celebrating a birthday of a children's birthday. It's a crazy thought, but it's the feeling that it's not sad or heavy, or it's light. Yeah, that was what came to me. And another, this ceremony, it helped me so much in another situation, because here I have the picture of Thay, and beside I have the picture of my auntie who passed away this in Easter time, springtime 21. And due to COVID, I was there all alone with her. I couldn't see her when she was in hospital. She was there only 2 days, and I wasn't allowed to go there. But then after they called me, I said, please, I want to come. And they said, yes, you can come. And immediately after she had died, I sat beside her and held her and talked to her. And I'm so glad I could be there so close to her. And then the time after, I was all alone organizing everything. And then being at the cremation, I was the only person sitting there. And it gave me so like feeling held this last night, to see it's all embedded in one big coming and going. And I'm so grateful that there is such a strong tradition and ceremony. So I somehow went again the way with my auntie last night. And yeah, I'm very grateful to this. And I'm so happy for the possibility to be here with you now, and to be able to tell this. Thank you.
Thank you, Sigrid. Thank you for sharing. And I know it's nearly 7 o'clock, and we just thought that it may be nice to extend today till people want to share. So for me, it's fine, and I would like to. But if anybody feels they don't want to be, please feel free, and we will continue sharing. And if that's it. And Alia would like to share. So please, Alia.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I want to say I feel grateful to Thich Nhat Hanh for all the conditions that had happened. For that, his teaching came to my life. No, for all the teachers, all the circumstances, the resource. I am grateful for you, Santum, Gitu, all the Sangha, because when I was there in Dehradun, you opened your home. I never been in Plum Village for one or another reason. I couldn't be there. And this space was I think very similar to be in Plum Village. I feel safe. I feel as a refuge to me. I meet great people. I have friends from there, from India, from this Sangha. Also, thank you because you were very generous. Always include me. I could spend time in some of your meals, and even I could enjoy the presence of some monks and a nun there. That was something very interesting to me to meet them in a more relaxed way. So I was very lucky to meet you. I only want to say the last thing. When Thay left his body, I felt very sad. But 2 days after, I went for a walk, and I asked Thay for walk with me. He asked me why I was hurried. Why I hurried? And I explained to myself because in this path with the shadow, I was cold, and I want to arrive to the beach because in the beach it was sunny. And he asked me, "Are you going to lose all these moments before you arrive to the place you want to be? Do you want to lose all these moments?" And I answered to me, "No, I'm going to enjoy the call." So in this moment that I decided to enjoy the call, the walking was very different. It was the same path, but I feel more alive, more present to everything. I need to say that in these days I feel a bigger need and intention to be present that I didn't feel in a long time. It's as maybe because sometimes I ask for help to be present, to sit as a solid as a mountain, and to help me to breathe. But I don't know why, but I feel as some years ago when I found these teachings, that I want to be present every time, and I feel again connected with what is the more important thing. And I think this is a gift from Thay to me. This, I feel him alive in me, and thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that experience. And you prefer to be called Alia, or is it somebody else's computer?
No, because I changed my name some months ago.
Okay.
So I think it's strange. Before I called Carlota, no?
Yes.
But I changed.
Yeah. No. You're welcome. But yeah. So from double A, we can go to the other double A, Arti.
I don't understand.
No, it's okay. Arti would like to share, and her name also starts with double A.
Yeah, thank you, Shantam. I think I didn't have the opportunity to meet Thay, but and I've only really got to know him through all the books that I have read that he's written. But yesterday, when I heard the young nun, read out the letter and describe her experience with Thay, something just I think for me he just became so he became like a human. I mean, I think I've always put him up on a pedestal, kind of idolized him, but after hearing that whole that what she read out and her experience, it just he just, I don't know, became, I think how I look at him changed. And I just feel that I could actually feel now that he's holding my hand and taking me on my journey ahead from now on. So that moment was really very special for me. And I just wanted to share that. And I've been just picking up books in random and reading things this last week. And I just want to read out this few lines from the book You Are Here. It says, this body is not me. I am not caught in this body. I am life without boundaries. I have never been born, and I shall never die. Look at the ocean and the sky filled with stars, manifestations of my wondrous true mind. Since before time, I have been free. Birth and death are only doors through which we pass, sacred thresholds on our journey. Birth and death are just a game of hide and seek. So laugh with me, hold my hand. Let us say goodbye. Say goodbye to meet again soon. We meet today. We will meet again tomorrow. We will meet at the source at every moment. We meet each other in all forms of life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arati. I was hoping to hear that poem. And you're a true student of Thai. When you spoke last time about drinking your tea in the hospital, it was just, and Thai already transmitted into you. So thank you so much. Charanata, would you like to share?
Hi, I'm not sure about my internet connection, but I would try to share.
Sure.
It sounds very strange to use the word accountability partner, but this is what comes to me, that every day when I hear or feel something swirl my inner sanctuary, make me feel turbulent, somehow, somewhere there is an unconscious, invisible need to belong in my longing to the teachings of Thay, where I ask myself that, okay, he is there, my accountability partner, and the only way he continues is how he continues inside me through what I have had the privilege of receiving from his teachings. And then I remember once upon a time reading this tiny book titled How to Love, which I think the opening chapter is Heart Like a River. And it said something like, if you pour a handful of salt in a cup of water, it becomes undrinkable. But if you put that handful in a river, people can still go on using that river water unaffected. And then I ask myself, in my triggered moments of daily living, that here is my glass and here is my container, and can I offer this as a gift to my teacher? Can I offer some formlessness, some more depth than what ordinarily I am reacting into? And again, as a new mother, I think I have a Buddha baby who is able to see right through me when I'm not present. So then I again ask myself, how can I be there and have become part of his Sangha in the form of this baby? And if internet would have allowed, I would have offered a glimpse of him to the Sangha. I would try, but I'm not sure, as an offering to this circle of loving and living intentionally. Shuna Babu. This is the only time I let him be in front of the screen. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Charnita, and thank you for sharing the baby Buddha with us. Yeah, it's wonderful. And your little teacher, baby Buddha teacher, keep you present, huh? So as we are completing the circle, I'll just go around the names which I hadn't mentioned. There's Malshri, And there's Ahimsa Trust, which is actually Shalini. And there's Stephanie T, Stephanie G. And there's Manish and Vandana and Indira and Ananya and Gitu, and the others have shared. So if anybody would like to share, we can do that now, and then otherwise we'll close with the Amiga choir again. But let me wait a minute or two and see if anybody wants to share. And we just breathe together, sit together. Indiraji?
Thank you, Shantam. Thank you, dear Sangha. I couldn't attend all the ceremonies, but I did rise today at 4:30 and attend today's, and also some of the others. I just found the ceremonies really beautiful, and I also found that something rather strange has happened to me, because earlier Thay's teachings, I felt, were slowly becoming a part of my life and a part of me. This Sangha is very much a part of me. But as this week draws to a close, I find that Thay himself feels very real and a part of me. So it's almost like he's become more real to me after his passing. And yeah, so much a part of me along with my mother. And I find that, that's something that I find I see over and over again. So I just thought I would share that. And it was such a beautiful ceremony. And death became very much a part of life. So that was the other feeling that I carried. And also just the sheer beauty of it all. So I felt very much that, that death can be so beautiful. And then this vast expanse of an incredible life. It's amazing what he's managed to achieve in terms of just being and just allowing us to discover the capacity to live, to love, and to just transform ourselves in every moment. So this, this deep connection with the sky, in terms of just this feeling of expansive, that was the other feeling that just came up in me. There's a lot more to say, but I just want to share this for now. I feel a deep connect with all of you, my dear Sangha, as well. And some kind of a renewed hope in the work that I do and the life that I lead. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Indira, and thank you for reminding me about an image I was seeing when I was watching the ceremony this morning, and how the smoke was coming out, and how Thay always says, I mean, a cloud is a cloud, the cloud transforms. And actually, the cloud is coming out in that smoke and wafting through all the brothers and sisters and the whole community there. And he sometimes he drinks he always drinks tea in a cup like this. This is actually from Plum Village, and one of the sisters they inscribed, "No mud, no lotus." Gitu. They gave it to Gitu. No mud, no lotus. And they just inscribed it. And while I was drinking the tea just now, I was holding it like this. And Thay often holds his tea like this. And you can feel the heat of the tea go through your whole body. So it's not just the cloud and the drink, but the heat of that smoke of the cloud, which becomes the rain and becomes the tea. And always, he'd always say, "Drink your cloud." And from here, you can't see, but I can see the cloud, not just this way, but also going up again in the form of steam. So he's very elegant. He's very elegant, sort of sophisticate in his own way, and yet so down to earth. Everything was just so. But even when he sat in his hammock, lay in his hammock in complete joy. I mean, I could start seeing he strung up his hammock on Vulture Peak. We spoke about Vulture Peak today, how he saw through his Buddha eyes on Vulture Peak, watching the sunset. But actually, I remember the first time we organized a pilgrimage, and he said he wanted to spend 5 days in Rajgir. And nobody could understand why he wants to spend 5 days in Rajgir. I mean, it was just these sort of so-called tours or pilgrimages. People don't even spend a night in Rajgir. They go and come back somewhere or go transit through. So they said, "Are you sure?" And basically he just loves Vulture Peak. And so he'd go from the morning, sunrise, sunset, just hang out, put up his hammock and hang out there. And then, of course, in the history of the Plum Village Dharma tradition, now that we're calling it, the first nuns were ordained there. I received my 5 trainings there. He was, it has become a very important place for our tradition. So then when he used to teach about walking with our Buddha feet, so that's what happened in Plum Village on Vulture Peak too. So anyway, that's he's transmitting all the time in every which form. And I'm reminded of a sutra. I was reading some sutras, and I was reminded of a sutra called the Aniruddha Sutra. And I know we're a bit late, but I would like to read it if you don't mind. It's just it's not too long. I mean, I can tell you the teaching what it is, but I think it's better to read it because it's just this is what was happening 2,600 years ago in Vaishali. So Aniruddha is the monk who, when the Buddha died, he sat in meditation. And because he sat in meditation, he encouraged and he gave teachings and he talked about the Buddha's life that night, right through the night. And others came to join in meditation. And so when I see the community now, in Thai's community, I see Aniruddha. In Ananda, his attendant was crying. He was very upset. And Aniruddha was kept reminding him to, come down, to control his emotions and come back to his breathing and practice. So Aniruddha had really got it, and so this is how he got it. One of the reasons he got it. I heard these words of the Buddha one time when the Lord was staying in the gabled house in the great forest near the town of Vaishali. At that time, the Venerable Aniruddha was staying in a hermitage in the forest, not far from where the Buddha was. One day, a group of recluses, probably Jains, people who were followers of Mahavira, came to see the Venerable Aniruddha and after exchanging greetings and courtesies, asked the Venerable monk, Venerable Anirudh, the Tathagat is often praised for having reached the highest fruit of awakening. He must have explained to you his understanding of these four propositions. 1. After death, the Tathagata continues to exist. 2. After death, the Tathagata ceases to exist. 3. After death, the Tathagat both continues and ceases to exist. And 4. After death, the Tathagat neither continues nor ceases to exist. So, of course, our Indian philosophical mind. So, please tell us which of these propositions is true. The Venerable Anirudh replied, Friends, the Tathagat, the world-honored one, the one who has realized the highest fruit of awakening, has never proposed or spoken about these four propositions. When they heard the Venerable Anirudh reply, the recluses said, It is possible that this monk has just been ordained. Or if he was ordained some time ago, he must be of slow wits. Not satisfied with Venerable Aniruddha's answer, they left him thinking that he was either newly ordained or of little intelligence. When the recluses had gone, the Venerable Anirudh thought, if recluses continue to ask me these questions, how should I answer so as to speak the truth and not misinterpret the teachings of the Buddha? How should I answer so as to be in harmony with the right Dhamma and not to be criticized by the adherents of the Buddha's path? Then Anirudh went to where the Buddha was staying, bowed to the Buddha, spoke words of greeting, and then told the Buddha what had happened. The Buddha asked him, What do you think, Anirudh? Can you find the Tathagat in form? No, world-honored one. Can you find the Tathagat outside of form? No, world-honored one. Can you find the Tathagat in feelings, perceptions, mental formations, or consciousness? No, world-honored one. Can you find the Tathagat outside of feelings, perceptions, mental formations, or consciousness? No, world-honored one. The whole Thay is teaching neither being nor non-being, no eternalism, no annihilation. No, world-honored one. Well then, Anirudh, do you think that the Tathagat transcends form, feelings, perceptions, mental formation, and consciousness? No, world-honored one. Anirudh, if you cannot find the Tathagat even when he is still alive, can you find the Tathagat within the four propositions? After death, the Tathagat continues to exist. After death, the Tathagat then ceases to exist. After death, the Tathagat both continues and ceases to exist. After death, the Tathagat neither continues nor ceases to exist. No, world-honored one. Quite so, Anirudh. The Tathagat is only spoken and taught in relation to one thing, suffering and the end of suffering. It's in Samyutta Nikaya. So, like the Zen master Thay and Buddha, they teach in this way, but it cuts through our conceptual mind. So thank you, dear friends. It's been so nice hanging out together and just honoring our teacher and honoring the tradition and our own ancestral tradition. Many of us have that seed of the Buddha Dhamma in us, and as Indians, and as not just Indians, as human beings, but on this land, we've had that great benefit. And I feel so happy that Thay allowed for me, for that seed to sprout. And as we heard from Anshul and maybe others, I can see that the same thing has happened after many years, centuries sometimes, I can feel. So we continue as a Sangha, as on our practice, and as Tina was saying, we can create stupas in our own space in whichever way, and we can also do it together to help each other. So please feel free to be part of this ongoing, right now, virtual community, but we will meet in all forms of life. This nice poem which Arti read out. So I will invite one sound of the bell, and then we will have the Amiga choir with one of the members not there, but we will have them sharing to close the circle. I just see something in the chat. And, okay. Is that okay? Anybody, just a last chance to share, and then we will go into the song and close.
May I, Shantam? Just a short.
Mala wants to say something, but we can't hear you, Mala.
But I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. I just wanted to acknowledge that one of the most touching parts I found in all these 7 days was when they brought Thay's tray of tea and his teacup and offered it at the altar. And it just goes to show that, the path that he has brought out is a path with a heart. It's not some intellectual, philosophical, however much we feel that the teachings are sometimes get very dry, but the path that he's shown us is really a path with a heart. And like Tina said, this one phrase of building a stupa of your own practice, is really gone deep inside. And on the first day, I was so upset. I mean, especially when when one saw his body. But today, I felt after these days, it's been like a journey of healing. And today, I felt so complete. And then I walked out in the morning and I found that my first tulip had bloomed.
So as they say, when they gesture like this, a tulip for you, a Buddha to be. So Gitu's unmuted? No, okay. Okay, so I'm going to invite one sound of the bell, and then we will close with the song. Okay?
In gratitude, you have watered seeds of love in me. In gratitude,
In gratitude, I will water seeds of love in someone.
I know you're there for me, and I am so happy.
in gratitude, you have watered seeds of love in me. In gratitude,
In gratitude, I will water seeds of love in someone.
And when you suffer some, please call and I will come.
in gratitude, you have watered seeds of love in me. In gratitude,
In gratitude, I will water seeds of love
offering flowers. Thank you, dear friends.